All right, welcome everyone to the Elevate event today on CutShort. I'm so sorry that you had to wait for a bit of time. There was some technical problem with the website, and there's Murphy's law at play, so we can't repeat it. I'm so sorry for that. Let's start now. So I'll give you a bit of time to get set. You can start to give you time to get your earphones and stuff. On the Hangouts, we also have Shalabh Gupta from Google recruiting team. So we'll also be having a chat with him to understand how Google hires, what they look for, all the interesting stuff. I'm sure everyone would love to know about. To get started, I would just take like 10 minutes of time to explain what this event is about, to explain cut short because it's kind of new to a lot of people who are here for the first time. So we are a bootstrap company. Last 2 years, we have been on a mission to make it effortless for the modern professionals to connect with the hiring team. So, you know, the times have changed, and we believe that the time and the methods that we use to connect with companies, to connect with the careers that we want, needs to change as well. And that's what we have been trying to do. In last 2 years, we have crossed 250K network size in terms of our reach. We have crossed 60,000 users, all organic, no discount coupons and no credits and stuff like that. And 2,700 plus companies have used CutShort to hire, and they have closed more than 250 roles in their company so far. So I talked about the fact that things have changed last 10 years, right? So I just wanted to show you why they have changed, right? So in last 10 years, we have seen so many social networks, we have so many platforms. What has happened is that there are more people looking for jobs, there are more companies who are hiring, and there are more number of people who are switching jobs more. What it does is creates last 5 to 10 years, right? And it becomes so difficult for people to see each other. It becomes difficult for one to identify who is good enough for my role, or who is a good company, or which is a good role I should get into. So CutShort is here to solve that noise problem. All the job boards, social platforms, recruitment agencies, and all the other methods that we have been using conventionally for last 10 years or 15 years or 25 years is kind of becoming ineffective. So how does it work? So our focus here on at CutShort is to solve it by three primary means. The first one is that verification and matchmaking. So all the users on CutShort have an identity which they log in with. In case of employers, if they're hiring, we verify every employer who comes in, making sure that they are actually working in their own companies. Once we know this information about who you are, what kind of jobs, or what kind of preferences, what you like, what you don't. The second thing in which we solve the topic of noise control, which Google has to face, for example, when they are looking at. But gamification, by gamification, we mean that we infuse trade-offs. So there's a limit on how many jobs you can apply to. There's a limit on even recruiters at how many people they can reach out to in a week, right? And there is a limit on how many resumes you may be spamming or that, right? So we are trying sleeping on your conversations and stuff like that. So there is that bit that we're trying to do to make your experience faster. And third is we use a lot of AI to make sure that you experience it. You don't have to enter less data. It's more intuitive. You can use things like Voila, which is a professional assistant, to set up your calls, right? Now coming to this event, which is called Elevate, right? So why we are doing this event? Again, coming to the same mission that we are on. We believe inherently that the people who are good, people who have proven themselves, who are passionate about what they do, it should be easy for them to connect with the real hiring teams, right? Anything else which is stopping you from connecting these companies from the kind of roles that you want to get into is a hindrance that should be demolished. And people on LinkedIn, you apply for jobs, you try to find referrals. All those things are slow, too formal, and they're time consuming. And that's why, in extension to what we are doing on CutShort every day, we also thought let's do one event where one day we bring 100 plus companies who are offering exciting roles. We are giving them a way to connect with 1,500 plus experienced professionals who are interested in exploring the opportunities with them, and let's bring them together on the platform one day, and try to make it easy for them to see each other, try to make it easy for them to connect with each other, right? So that's the goal of the event. The goal of the event is to connect you with these people directly. So today we have, as I said, more than 1,500 plus experienced professionals. They're across tech, marketing, product management, sales, design, HR, and all other roles. They come from startups as well as product companies. For techies, we have also tried to make it easy for the techies who don't have, let's say, a very good pedigree in terms of the education background and stuff, and they want to prove themselves. So we have given them a way to programming test of 1 hour where they crack two problems which are logical problems, not really much of a language proficiency test. It's more like a test of their quick thinking, logical programming. And some of the companies who might be looking at techies might see the scores of these programming challenges when they're looking at a techies today. If you have not taken a test, you can take it still. The event is open until tonight. But if you have not taken a test, you can still connect with companies. It's fine. Although, if you had taken and scored well, your chances would have been more. We have 80 plus companies hiring. I don't know what is the count right now, but the count is increasing. We are seeing more people, more companies coming in. Some of the names are already known by you. Pretty good guys in terms of very responsive on CutShort, and they are looking here for some good talent today. So feel free to connect with these companies. So how to connect? So when you go to the event attendees tab on the left, you will see two tags, two hashtags. That's how we have categorized the attendees today. In CutShort's other events, there are more tags, but in this event, because this is a more career event, we have only two tags. Depending on who you want to connect with. So there are 412 people who are exploring new job opportunities. So the companies who are hiring, they can click on that tag to see these candidates. And the people who are looking for jobs can click on the hiring tag. Right. There's also a video which explains how the whole workflow works. So basically, you look at people, show them, send them a brief message, wait for them to accept. If they accept, then we make the introduction. And there's a connected tab on the left where you will see all the introductions that have been made to you. You can resume, then you can click on a button to start the conversations and close it and take it forward. So the goal here and this event is to make that first connect where you are reaching out to companies, companies are reaching out to you. If there is a mutual fit, both say yes, then the introductions happen and those are seen in a connected tab on the left. That's the goal. So we're going to have a special guest today in our Hangouts. Shalabh Gupta is a leading or is a part of technical recruiting team at Google. He's also been a CutShort user for quite some time, and he's one of the users who is pretty interesting. Google is of course very interesting as a company in terms of they have built a whole hiring philosophy, which is quite widely followed across the tech as well as non-tech market globally. So we thought of having a brief discussion with him today on what Google looks for when they look at people, what are the challenges they face, and what people who are interested in getting into companies like Google or some other companies, what things they should focus on to become successful, right? So I'll be chatting with him today after this short deck that I have. So now we are all set in terms of getting the event started. I just want to set a bit of expectation here. Organizing events like this, where we bring in companies, we bring in people across different functions. Everyone is looking for something some of them might be here, some of them might not be today at the event. So it becomes difficult for you to, it may become difficult for you to make quality interactions or introductions today. But it's fine. This is just a new idea. So we all are trying to make it work here. Our team is working hard on it. Companies who are joining in today, they also want to make it work. And people who are joining in to look for opportunities, you have the fact that you are here after all the problems and troubles that we guys gave to you in terms of technical stuff. It shows that you also are willing to try something new. This is a new idea. We will continue the action on the main CutShort platform until the next event that will happen. We plan to do the events pretty frequently now, let's say every 4 to 6 weeks. So we will do more events, but in the meantime, the action will continue on the main platform. There will be more companies who will be joining in, and they will be, and you can show interest and connect with them on the main CutShort platform. Wishes you all the success. This is a team that has been working hard on this, organizing this event. So most of you are already aware of this team on WhatsApp groups and stuff. We have been trying to help you. May not have had time to really help you all individually, but that's because we are trying to work on so many other priorities that we wanted to solve to make this event successful. Right, so let's interact. You can start the event networking now, so you can reach out to people, and introductions already happening. I'm seeing some emails going in and out, so that's already happening. That's good. Now let's interact, and let's start with the chat that we have today in the Hangouts with Shalabh Gupta from Google. All right, Shalabh, welcome to the Hangouts, and welcome to Elevate.
Yeah.
Right, so let me also go online. Can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Just a minute. So, interesting things happening around the world, in terms of talent, in terms of jobs, AI, and all of that. So I'm sure a lot of stuff on your plate. Today we got you, and our objective was to clarify a few things to get your view about, how Google hires. So that's a topic of constant curiosity and guesses in terms of what they look for, what they don't, and stuff like that. So we thought, let's have a 10-15 minute chat with you. People who are here on the Elevate event page. If you have any questions for Shalabh, you can ask those questions on the broadcast window, a chat shout box kind of a thing that you see on the top and on the right. Our team will pick up your questions, and we'll try to get them answered from Shalabh in the end. So the way we're gonna do this session is, I have a few questions which are the most FAQs sort of a thing about how Google hires. So to begin, Shalabh, lot of stuff has been written about how Google hires. So if you search on how Google hires or what Google looks for, they are documentations that have been written by Google itself on their website. I have seen no other company who goes to the point of actually making videos and making sure that everyone who applies, they are aware of how you hire, what you look for, how to crack interviews, how to prepare, and all of that. So although that is all happening, one of the questions that typically comes in that most of that information is being written from a global perspective. So people, it's like Google Inc. How does Google Inc. hire? But sitting here in India and sitting in this kind of country where we have unique context, unique challenges, what do you think are your key challenges that are different from the global hiring that you see in Google when you hire in India? What are those challenges?
Sure. So, we're luckily blessed enough to be an organization which gets a lot of talent, who wants to work with us. Be always there in one of the top places to work with. That certainly helps our cause. Now,
Right.
I speak for all roles across Google because as a large organization, we have a very, very wide variety of roles that are on offer. So I'll tend
Right.
to more on the technical roles that are there with Google on the engineering side of things. So
Right.
we actually have a fairly standardized process for hiring engineers within Google across the world, where the focus is strongly on assessing your coding and algorithmic skills, system design skills, etc. So we usually allocate projects and products only at the end of our interview process. We don't really start you off interviewing for one particular team, etc., unless it's a super specialized role. Because we tend to take the feedback that you get during your interviewing process and your preferences and how it fits in with our requirements as well. Everything into consideration before coming to the offer. Sorry, I just deviated from the question a little. But coming to a question in terms of the challenges that we face, um, in India, one of the biggest challenges that we face is in terms of sheer scalability. So any role that gets opened for India, um, the number of applications that we receive is much, much greater as compared to any other market that Google operates in, which talks fairly well about the kind of talent and opportunities that we have available here, which is great. But then, it also provides us a problem that, we will have to turn down a lot more candidates than we can onboard. And that's not a good thing for any of us. But yeah, so issues in terms of scalability is something that we come across fairly often. Then the kind of hands-on coding expertise that we require, especially because Google engineering interviews it has is extremely high. That's also not met in a lot of cases. That again could be due to a variety of factors, but again, that's another challenge that we face. Then these are the two main problems that we are looking to address. Um,
Okay, so in this context, when the moment you open a role, and then you earlier told me that once you open a role within hours you or minutes you get like 100,000 of 100 or let's say 1,000 applications within seconds, right? In that context, one of the worry or uh, one of the assumptions that people make is that not my application is not going to be read by someone at Google.
so um, it is hard for us to go through all the applications, no doubt. We do try our best to clear out all the bins that we can, but then you have to understand, because of the sheer volume of applications, which with a lot of them not being relevant to the role that's applied. Let's say, if we open a product lead role or head of data sciences division or something, we will we'll get 15,000 applications in half a day, out of which 14,000 will be from college freshers looking to head a department at Google. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for us to send a rejection back to everyone and actually personally reply to each and every application as well. So we are looking to means to address that as well. But the amount of relevant applications and relevant content that we receive gets minimized. So there's a good chance that, as you also mentioned in your presentation earlier, that a lot of good candidates or candidates who may have had a shot also tend to get drowned out in the noise that is around the entire process.
So do you use any algorithms or systems or tech to, sift through the noise, match make and stuff like that, or it's like largely manually done?
So we have a internal portal at Google which we utilize for our applicant tracking. It's a fairly comprehensive system that's been developed by Google engineers, which does use features from machine learning, AI, searches, etc. That we tend to utilize for finding relevant applications. Sometimes we do use keyword searches, etc. as well. So yeah, but I can't disclose to what extent we are able to use these tools while getting an application.
Right. And one more thing, talking about the misconceptions or assumptions or worries that people have, is also that I'm not from IIT, I'm not from a great college. How much weightage it will have to my application when I'm applying for Google?
Sure. So that's a great question, Nikunj, and something that it would be great if I can clear out any misconceptions based on this. When it comes down to the interviewing process, your background, whatever college that you have been a part of, it stops playing a role the moment you start solving a problem. Then it's entirely your own intellectual capability, your own programming skills, your own problem solving ability which comes into the picture. And that's the only thing that we look at while evaluating any candidate. Now, to answer this question slightly differently, we have done a lot of research in terms of applicants who are successful during Google interviews. And what we have seen is a very strong analysis and data which indicates that applicants from top tier engineering colleges, especially IIT, etc., they do genuinely end up doing well during the interviewing process. And that's something that we can't ignore. That's very strong data. But even if we do blind problem solving tests, etc., we do end up seeing that a lot of candidates who are able to do well in these types of blind tests as well end up being applicants from top colleges. But once we assess a CV for shortlisting, not only do we look at your educational pedigree, but we look at a host of other factors aside from it. So we look at relevant project work that you have done, whether it was freelance, whether you were doing it as a part of a startup, a smaller organization, independent project work. Are you an active member of the programming community? Do you have a profile on GitHub? What kind of ranks do you have? Do you participate in coding challenges, competitions and such? So we do look at a lot of random GitHub profiles as well, and winners of different coding competitions without having any idea from which college they would be. We only look at
Right.
a person who solve XYZ problems and that too done successfully. We are open for college dropouts as well, provided they exhibit a very strong sense of technical excellence. So it would not be correct to say that we only shortlist profiles on the basis of their educational pedigree. We definitely look at all the qualities listed in your CV, but then once it comes down to the interviewing level, it will be entirely dependent on the qualities that you bring.
Right. So for those who think that they, who meet this criteria, they think that they have done some good GitHub projects, open source contributions, they are part of tech teams, uh, and they're not from IITs. What you would suggest, like what they should do to get into Google?
So, of course, then as you mentioned, then there's a problem of scale as well. If we come across 10 CVs, all of whom are not from IITs but have different levels of projects they've done, GitHub activities they've done, participated in programming competitions, we can ultimately only hire one or two of them, right? And we'll only be able to shortlist a certain amount as well. So yes, the scale definitely matters, and it provides problems for both us and the candidates. But if you are looking to apply for roles at Google, definitely understand which role that you are applying for, how relevant is your experience and the skill set that is required to closely match the role in question. So this is not only true for Google, this is something that you can use as a best practice across multiple organizations. Whether you're applying for Amazon, Facebook, any other organization, do have in mind, whether the qualities that you bring to the table are the ones which are required for the role. If somebody is looking for a 10 years experience candidate and you have 2 years experience and you're applying for a role, you're not going to get shortlisted for the role. And you'll see this on your platform as well. We have a and I mentioned the kind of requirements that we have. You'll be able to see the kind of applications that we get for this role, and you can judge it for yourself.
Okay. Uh, so a lot of people, especially in the community of cut shorters, they have worked in startups, or they have even started their startups, and they shut down their startups for a variety of reasons. Uh, so how do you look at the people who have like entrepreneurial instinct to it? Is that something, if they are not very strong in tech, they can compensate, or in terms of review, they can get some brownie points for their entrepreneurial spirit, or like it is only in addition to the tech proficiency that they can bring to the table?
If you're interviewing for a tech role or an engineering role at Google, then we will only be looking at how good you are in terms of your technical abilities. So in that context, you will only be solving coding problems, system design problems, etc. And that's something that we will be assessing. How your tech experience may have benefited you on this is something that we will see once you are across a table from us and solving a problem. But if you're applying for, let's say, business management roles, that's something where we will go a little more in depth in terms of your entrepreneurial experience. You may be you may have better experience in terms of working with clients, setting up a team from scratch. So those qualities may be a better fit for non-technical roles rather than only tech-based roles.
Right. So for people who want to build their Google, or let's say they are starting out now, or they think they want to build a company like Google, but they have not done a lot of projects and they're on that path of building the profiles. What you would suggest that what they should do to become ready for Google or making Google ready for them?
So again, I'll talk about the engineering roles in this context, right? So at Google, what is assessed is your problem-solving ability and your hands-on coding expertise. So build yourself a GitHub profile, start participating in hackathons, coding competitions, um, do some freelance projects, where you genuinely write a lot of production code, that you have experience in that aspect. Apart from that, keep your computer science fundamentals extremely strong and sharp, because a lot of interview questions that we give during Google interviews, and I'm sure a lot of other product companies also do, tend to be focused on, they may be complex problems, but they're focused on concepts of data structures, linked lists, search sorting algos, tree and graph theory problems, etc. So, practice a lot of questions from these, prepare well for the interview rounds. That's one of the key things that we don't see a lot of candidates do. We do tend to give candidates a lot of time before they come for interviews. We give them a few weeks where we expect them to, brush up these skills before they come on board for the interviews. So those are areas where you should keep yourself fairly sharp, and with the right amount of preparation, I'm sure these guys will give themselves a much better chance of cracking not only Google but any technical interview.
Right. So that's great that I think when you apply to for a role at Google, I think Google itself prepares you a lot. So they also don't want you to fail. They want you to succeed. I think you guys gave a lot of, as I said earlier, you guys gave a lot of material to learn, to read. Uh,
Absolutely.
the other day I read an email written to a product manager role, an aspirant for product management role, and then recruiter actually sent out a bunch of information that read out this blog, read out that blog, for strategy, read this. You will be also expected to do data crunching, so also to be ready with this. So I think recruiters also play a big role in setting up the candidates for success. So I think it's also very important to get in touch with use the right channel like CutShort to contact people like Shalom, right? And then once you get the shot, they will tell you what you need to do before you actually get the interview. So that's great. I think one more point that you earlier mentioning, me, Shalabh, was that it's not about Google per se. People should not be doing or thinking just about Google and one company and just make that a mission, right? So we'd like to touch upon that.
Yes. So thank you for bringing it up. What we had a discussion on this earlier was that candidates should not be agnostic to one particular organization where I will only apply for Facebook and I will ignore the others. I think it should be more on the basis of your self-assessment and self-improvement. Understand where your experience lies, where your expertise lies, what's the skill set that you have, and understand what kind of jobs do you aspire for, and try to bridge that gap between the skill sets that you currently have and what you aspire for. And only then, once you get yourself ready, not only will you be able to crack Google but any other organization based on a good match. So being a little self-aware and then working on your own capabilities will make a person ready for any sort of organization or technical interviews.
Right. So that's a very important point, not only for techies looking to get into Google, but I think even for product managers, marketers, whoever is looking for looking to roles. That's a great advice there. That focus on your skills, focus on what you like. So there's a great thought which says that you should work at the intersection of what you're good at, what you love doing, and what somebody will pay you for, right? So figure out the intersection there. Don't try to force fit yourself into just because Google is the most sought after company out there. You get into Google and then you not end up enjoying yourself. So understand, realize what is important to you, and then build work. If you naturally are working towards it and you are improving yourself, Google will just happen to you, or Amazon will just happen to you. You just need to, figure out and do the lot of homework before you actually, choose your mission or choose your goals. So that's great advice. Thanks, Shalom, for that.
Great. So,
One question that is, yep, that you like to add something?
no, no, sorry. I was just about to say that I'm sorry. I will be running out of time a little.
Yep. So sure. So we'll just take one question from the audience, which is actually a generic question. So she's already answered. The graduation is graduation enough or post graduation must? So I think it's already been answered by Shalab saying even graduation is not required per se if you are really self starter and you can show strong proof of what you have accomplished.
Yeah. So degrees that whatever degree that you do, it should be relevant and valid to the role that you apply for. You or you should have the kind of skill set and experience that would match the role that you're applying for. That's something that we would consider more than the number of degrees or masters, etc. that you would have. So
Right. So there's one question from just one saying, since Google is focusing on optimality of coding problem, how much focus is given on code quality and simplicity in interviews? So the
okay,
solution in the interviews need to be simple and good code quality, or they should be more extensive in terms of, I think solving the entire problem.
sure. That's a good question. Okay. So Google also has a variety of different engineering roles. You have a software engineering role. You have roles with other engineering teams as well. If you talk particularly about the software engineering role, then there we do have a lot of emphasis on your code authorship skills as well. Not only will we look at whether you commit syntactical errors when you're writing your code, we will also look at whether you use a brute force approach while solving the problem, or do you have a strong understanding of time space complexity that you can optimize your code. So yes, for software engineering roles, being able to optimize your code is like very important because given the scale that Google works at, a small difference in time space complexities makes a large overall difference to the product. So yes, that's an extremely important skills. We will look at things like how descriptive are your function names, your you know variable names, etc. that you will be using. But not all the emphasis is placed on that. But yes, those are definitely some of the things that our interviewers look at while the interview process is going on. Plus, once you get on board at Google, we have a large amounts of coding repositories, and we encourage a lot of best coding practices to improve your coding style. Well. So those are some of the things that we can iron out once you join full time. But yes, the basic qualities should be there in your code operation.
Thanks for that. I think we'll stop the questions here because Shalab has to run into a different meeting. So, Shalab, any closing address, any closing comment, advice, tips for anybody, for people who are attending the event at CutShort today?
Sure. Uh, I do expect to receive a lot of good profiles from all of you, and I wish I had enough roles open at Google India, so that we could connect with all of you. But unfortunately, being realistic, that may not be the case. To give an idea to potential applicants in terms of what we're looking for, especially within engineering, we are definitely looking to get a lot of good people on board. But we are looking at senior experienced candidates only. So, people with at least 7, 8+ years of experience with very strong hands-on coding skills is something that would be our priority. We have multiple engineering positions open out of our Bangalore setup. So, feel free to share your profile with me in case you think you are falling into any of these categories. But do remember that, brush up on your coding skills, keep your hair sharp in terms of the interview process ahead. And I hope to connect with a lot of you moving forward anytime on that.
So basically, just to re-emphasize, 7 to 8 year plus experience in tech. That's the number one thing that you're looking into, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and at a lower experience level, are you also okay with some smart people coming in and showing and really getting attention?
Um, so we don't really have open roles over at over there. We do justice to candidates as well. So unfortunately, maybe not at this time, but maybe in 2015 we may have some roles which open up.
Okay, so in that case, I would suggest if you think you are smart and you are fitting the all the check boxes which Shalab had mentioned, and you don't have 7 8 year experience, you can still get in touch with Shalab and be in touch with him. An appropriate time, maybe you can reinitiate the thread again. Finally, anything else for apart from these two roles, like product roles, people management, or product management kind of roles? Also, are you guys looking for?
There could be potential product roles as well, but again, senior folks only is what we're looking at. We don't really have a lot of people management roles which open up at Google because we tend to promote internally within Google because people managers within Google understand the entire internal system a lot better than external candidates. So that's just an organizational thing.
Okay, so in case of product people also, if you have substantial experience and you think you can add value to Google, I think they can also reach out to you, and then you can take forward the conversation with them and route them through the organization as you see fit.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sure.
Okay, so thanks Shalom for your time. Sorry for keeping you waiting for a bit because of all the issues that we are facing. So you have been very supportive, and I we hope that you will be here again in some of the future events that we do. In the meantime, let's stay in touch, and then any tips, any feedback. So you can also look at the application as you're saying. So I think you will be mostly looking at inbound. People will be reaching out to you, and today sometime you will come back and review the people who have applied to you, and then I think you can stay in touch with them on CutShort as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. I look forward to being in touch. Thank you for having me, Nikunj.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Shalab, so much. Yeah, have a good day. See you again. Bye. All right, guys. So I hope that was useful. If you had more questions, I think those were very generic questions that we asked today. If you have any specific questions, we'd love to get them answered from, if not from recruitment, if you actually want to even talk to Google's product team and get their views on something, feel free to send your questions to us, and then we will route them through and get your answers. This is a time when we stop these hangouts, and as I said, we hope that you will find this event useful. Give us a feedback. There will be a survey form that we will circulate. So please tell us what you like, uh, what you don't like. There will be a bunch of things in that category, but we also want to know what you like so that we can, even make them even more powerful and more impactful for you guys. Uh, any other thing that you think we can add to the platform to make it or to make this events more successful? Let us know. We are still working on this product. It is not completely done yet. So we are improving a lot of things since last event. We have added a few more things. We hope to improve. So let us know your feedback, and I hope that you find this event useful again. Uh, and I love to. We are also hiring a CutShort, so we are looking for some smart techies. That happened today at 2 o'clock, where everything was like, those problems can be prevented. So we are looking for techies. We are looking for sales, account managers, and we are looking for marketers. So if you have a knack of building, your marketing campaigns, you can figure out what should be the story, what should be the messaging. You're good with words. Please also reach out to me in the event. All right. So thank you so much for joining us here, and let's stay in touch. Bye bye.